Hello and welcome to this topic. This is SIEM solutions. So what does SIEM stands for? It stands for Security Information and Event Management. So this technology supports threat detection, compliance and security incident management through the collection and analysis, both near real time and historical, of security events as well as wide variety of other events and contextual data sources. So SIEM is always accompanied by log management solution. So we'll see like how it does work. So the core capabilities are broad scope of log event collection, log management, and ability to analyze log events and other data across disparate sources, and operational capabilities such as incident management, dashboard, and reporting. So SIEM can be seen as a centralized tool which is accumulating all the logs, alerts, and then it gives the insightful data to the user so that he can have a look on the complete enterprise or infrastructure, like what's happening where. So basically it has multiple functions. One is alerting. So it analyzes events and helps escalate alerts to notify security staff of immediate issues either by email or other type of messaging or via security dashboard. So it will analyze all those logs, because if you see in an environment, the log generation has increased beyond the manual limit of understanding the logs. So we need a solution which can analyze all those logs. So logs are generated around like 5,000 EPS, events per second. So it is impossible by a human to see all those logs and then derive some sequence between them and some logic between them. So we need a SIEM solution which can analyze all those thousands and hundreds of thousands of logs and convert them into the alerts. So an alert can be created by analyzing multiple logs as well. So if, let us suppose, if there is a multiple login failure at a device, so we can say that an alert can be generated that unauthorized access for this device is done. So that could have come from the 5 unsuccessful login attempts also. Then it has dashboard and visualization. So it creates visualization to allow staff to review the event data, see patterns, and identify activity that does not conform to standard process or event flows. So what we cannot see with our bare eyes, those type of information it will provide in terms of visualization, and by analyzing the event data, the log data, and then creating a pattern also, pattern of attack. It could be a pattern of the change in the process data or change in the network data. So those visualizations we can see. Then retention. So one functionality of SIEM solution is also retention of the logs and events and alerts. So stores long-term historical data to enable analysis, tracking, and reporting for compliance requirements. So it stores long-term historical data. So let us suppose some organization has a retention data of 5 years, of 1 year, or 90 days even. So it has a functionality that it can store that data for such a long term as well. Especially important in the forensic investigations which can occur long after the fact. So if something happens at the later stage in the plant, so that could be detected by the stored logs, whatever we have stored. So it will help in the forensic investigations if some attack happened or some type of trials is required. Next is the threat hunting. So allows security staff to run queries for multiple sources via SIEM data, filter and pivot the data, and proactively uncover threats and vulnerabilities. So threat hunting is a manual activity or a assisted automated activity also sometimes. So it will help, SIEM helps you to give the all sorts of logs on a single database, and you can do all those query sorting, and you can find the bridges between all those data. So now you have logs from switches, from firewalls, from asset management system, from configuration management system, from the log management systems, and from IPS, from IDS, from switches, from workstations. So you have now multiple logs, and it is all at the SIEM solution. So you can just do a query and you can see that at a particular timestamp what happened with all these devices, and you might find a link. So that type of activity is only possible if everything is at a place and in a well visualized manner. So it helps in threat hunting also. Next is incident response. So it provides case management, collaboration, and knowledge sharing around security incidents, allowing security teams to quickly synchronize on the essential data, communicate, and respond to threat. So some of the SIEM solutions and most of the SIEM solutions, they have the incident response also. So you can directly integrate your SIEM solution to a ticketing solution, and then in case of the incidents, you can raise a ticket and you can assign the authority or responsibility to a particular person to resolve it. And also it is a communication tool, so you can provide the details of the event, what happened, to a responsible stakeholders. So these all type of capabilities are lying with SIEM solutions. So there are several SIEM solutions out in the market. It's like we have Splunk SIEM solution, we have Exabeam, we have Logarithm, we have 40 SIEM, we have IBM SIEM, then SecureOnic. If you download the Gartner or top SIEM solutions, you will find a list of SIEM solutions. So Elasticsearch is also a SIEM, they have also a SIEM solution capability. So in picture we want to see, we can deploy this SIEM solution either agentless or agent based. So what is the agent? Agent is a software which sits on a system that it will collect all the logs of that system and forward it to the log management or log collector. So let us suppose this is a server. So one SIEM agent can sit here if OEM allows. In OT system, we need to take approval of OEM prior to installing any agent or changing any service or any DLL file even on the servers or the workstation or HMI. So with vendor or OEM, we can discuss for this how much data it will consume, how much bandwidth it will consume, how much CPU resources it will consume, how much hard disk it will consume. So we need to see all those things prior to putting an agent on any of the systems. Yes, some systems which are monitoring, that can also be there we can implement agent if it is approved by vendor and it is not in the time sensitive network, so that due to the degradation of the performance of that system or that switch, there will be some direct impact on the production loss. So SIEM agent will sit on workstation. Then we can also put SIEM agent on wireless servers, then SIEM agent on the mobile devices if organization is using SIEM agents on the surveillance systems. Or if some systems they do not allow you to put an agent, then in that case we can use agentless method. So we can use Windows evading method, we can use SNMP trap forwarding, we can use syslog forwarding. So there are other methods also where what we can use to collect the logs. Then all these things will go to a log collector. At the SIEM server, there is basically one correlation engine. So correlation engine, what it will do, it will correlate the logs from each of these devices, whatever, for a particular time span, and it will try to find the exact relation between the logs or the events. Then it will have a database where it will store all those events, alarms, and logs, also the incidents. Then it has a security intelligence engine also. So what it will compare with some security intelligence, the alarms or the correlated output what it generated, and it will try to figure out whether it was a really an incident or not. And then in case if it finds that was an incident, it will notify to the user. It could be SOC analyst, and then SOC analyst can do their due diligence. We can also export and import everything whatever is on a SIEM server. We can sometimes put a redundant SIEM server, we can put redundant communication links to make our system robust. So only just putting a SIEM solution doesn't meet the security purpose. You need to put a team there or put a solution there to see what is actually happening there. Just by putting a SIEM server, it will only help you in forensics. But if someone is there to see what is actually happening here, to check, to do the threat hunting, to visualize whatever is happening there, then only that SIEM solution will be useful. So that's about the SIEM solution. Let's move to the next topic. Thank you.